All right, so here we are. Strings anchored a little bit wider from the center. And when I pull down here with the pen, you'll notice, yeah, it just doesn't go as far down. But as I keep tension on it and swing it wide, you'll notice it does seem to match up over here on the sides. That's an important concept. See if you can figure out what that. Whoop, gotta loop my string over the nails. Could probably just taken out the old ones, huh? And then over here, it tends to match up over there on the side. You know, this is, oh crap, this isn't rocket surgery. It does require a little bit of brain. All right, so keeping the tension there, and I'm looping around. Snagged on a piece of string. This is, and there we go. My lips got a little flatter. Seems like the wider I move the nails, the flatter the ellipse gets. And so there's a measure of roundness called the eccentricity. The closer an ellipse is to a circle, the closer its eccentricity is to zero. So that's the easy thing to remember. Zero looks like a circle. The closer the eccentricity gets to 1, the flatter it looks, like the number 1, but number 1 sideways. All right, I'm gonna do one more, and I'm gonna get smarter than my phone. Instead of turning it off, I'm gonna pause it. All right, I unpaused. I got my hammer, and I got my nail. All right, Johnny Cash fans, what do you say about that? Well, that might have been the carpenter's. That's right, he's saying if I was a carpenter, but a hammer and a nail is somebody else. All right, I moved my string, moved my nails further out. And hopefully you've guessed that the further out the nails get, the flatter the ellipse gets, because you can't pull this string down as far here. And yeah, sure enough, I am flatter. And I also got smarter in my process. I took out the nails I had before, because I'm so smart. Yeah, keep convincing yourself of that. All right, notice that even though they're almost all the way to the edge, it's still fairly roundish, and then it comes in and ties in there. So you got your 3 ellipses drawn out there, getting a little flatter and flatter. If I went all the way out to there, like right next to the edge, I'd still have a really flat ellipse. Flatter the ellipse, the closer the eccentricity is to 1. The rounder the ellipse, the closer it is to a circle, the more the eccentricity gets closer to the number 0. All right, that's not a super crucial detail, but it is discussed in the book. Eccentricity is a measure of roundness, and it's eccentricity that screwed up the planetary paths that they studied for centuries, trying to figure out how do the planets move through the sky, because Venus is almost a perfect circle around the sun. But then they realized, gosh, as we got better with telescopes, there's things way, way out there. They can't possibly be circles. So that's when Kepler came up with his uniform, or I'll talk about that later when I have the book in front of me. All right, now notice, if I take the string off the nails, hold on one sec, we're both doing lectures. That was your state prosecutor, my wife, jealous that I was videoing. She wanted to come down and be part of the party. All right. What happens if I take this string off the nails? What is so important about the string? I pull it all the way across. The string is what we call the length of the major axis. So what's my point there? See if this is better with my hat off. It's still glaring. I'm an old man, I can't be out here in the sun. The string is the length of the major axis. All of these points, no matter what ellipse you were on, and I'll go to my last one, are a collection of points that share a length of the string idea. So if you can see this, I'm going to call that D1, and I'm going to call that D2. Hopefully you can see that in the picture. I can't tell. If I move over here, the string hasn't changed its length. Ooh, I should go back and put that right there. You got this distance. Just just kind of trace it along the nail and the string. D1 plus D2. Now if I go over here, I'm going to call this right here D3. I'm going to call this right here D4. And what's the point? D1 plus D2 equals D3 plus D4. The bigger point, an ellipse is not like a circle. This is a collection of points that are equidistant from a fixed point. It's the collection of points where the sum of two distances to two fixed points, your nails, is the same. And that same distance, the length of your string, is the length of your major axis. And why is that important? Well, if you want to hear things in a concert hall, or if you go to Balboa Park and you're in the Science Museum and all those kids are running through that hallway screaming and you're standing on the 2 feet and your friend's standing on the 2 feet, like 75 feet away, you can hear them perfectly. You're in a whispering cave. It's a elliptical cross section. Oh great, that's so great, Steve. I'm not going to Balboa. I'm not going to go to some stupid museum. Yeah, but you might have a kidney stone. What does that got to do with hearing? Nothing. They use sound, which is an energy, reverberate it off of an elliptical cross section, and they place your kidney stone at one of the focal points and the sound source at the other focal point, and it always reflects back to the other focus. So that's how ellipses get used. Whether you ever use them or not, I don't know. But that's how they get used. That's called lithotripsy. It's a medical thing, kind of like Star Trekian, that they can break up a kidney stone with sound vibration instead of going in with a scalpel. It's called non-invasive surgical techniques. You vibrate the stone with energy till it shatters. It does not destroy much of the surrounding tissue like a scalpel does. Hey, if you're not sure what that's like, no, don't go grab a knife and cut into yourself. It hurts. Just trust me.